Hey, everybody. Before we get into my interview with Rachel, I want to put forward a stop. You've heard this before, a disclaimer. For those who are not aware, the process of doing exit press during the jury phase of a Big Brother season is different than the pre jury phase. Usually, I would get the chance to talk face to face, albeit virtually, with a person after they are evicted. However, for the jury phase, instead, the press sends in questions through email to be asked on our behalf to the evicted house guests. This is so that CBS can reserve the right to screen out any questions or anything that they feel might bring outside information into the game and might impact those people's votes. So essentially, what I do here is that what you're about to watch is the producer asking these questions to Rachel and her providing her answer. And I have edited in myself asking these questions just to make it look like more of a fluid conversation. But to make things absolutely clear, I did not have a face to face conversation with Rachel. This was her answering questions that were submitted to her by me. All that being said, I really hope you enjoy my interview with the one, the only Rachel Reilly. Walk me through the emotional roller coaster of the competition at the White Locust. What were your reactions as the picks were being made, and how do you ultimately feel about the unconventional way you went out of the game?
The White Locust competition with this hamster wheel of death maze was extremely emotional. It was an emotional roller coaster, and to be completely honest, I don't think that I ever want to take that ride again. um, it was, I think, from the moment that Ava had to make her first pick, I felt the urgency to pull her and talk to her and discuss the strategy of this game and this competition, because not only were we fighting to stay in our life in the Big Brother house, but we were also competing for an HOH comp, right? So the person or persons that are competing in this maze are going to be the next HOH. So strategically, we really needed to make sure that we put our most valuable allies at the top of this competition with the most amount of time, and then stack it so that if we have the 2.5 minutes to 1.5 minute mark, that someone goes home that we don't care about, that we want to send home. Because this is an extremely strategic twist. This is a knockout comp, it's an HOH comp, and at the end of the day, this is probably one of the most like critical moments. It's the first member to jury. It's someone that you can easily take advantage of and get out of this competition, or risk your allies going home, which is what happened with Ava and I. The picks that when she picked Vince, I was extremely disappointed and frustrated. I thought I had built a better relationship with Ava so that she would have listened to me a little bit more. And I was truly looking out for all the people that we were working with. It wasn't just myself in that situation. Yes, obviously I wanted to go first to ensure my safety and to also not be frazzled and do the best job I could in that competition. But by the same token, I also wanted to make sure that if I went first, I was going to pick someone from the alliance that would also, make the correct choice and the correct pick. Picking a player like Vince is such a wild card because nobody knew what Vince was going to do. And nobody knew where Vince's true allegiance was. And so for Ava, who was working with us, even though she wasn't in the judges, she was still working with us. For her to pick Vince was really disappointing. And I think if I would have had maybe a more calm approach or just approach the situation differently, she might have listened to me. So I really, wish that that would have happened. But, whenever there's a twist in Big Brother, as they say, expect the unexpected, right? You have to be ready for it, and you have to have your allies also ready for it. And everyone kind of has to work together. And when you're working with people that are new players, sometimes they don't understand the strategy behind these type of competitions.
Despite coming in as a returnee and a winner, you ended up leaving the game without ever getting a vote or even being nominated. What relationship or move do you credit the most to being able to avoid the block for so long?
When I came into Big Brother 27, I really took I did a lot of like personal inner reflection. And I said, if I'm going to play this game, I need to actively play. And by doing that, I needed to go in day one and form these relationships. And I worked really hard with asking people very personal questions and really digging deep on getting to know people and not just talking to them in a surface way where you typically do on Big Brother or in any of these game shows. I really took that extra moment to ask them questions about their lives and how they got here and what they want out of life and where they see themselves, and just really getting to know them on a very personal level and consistently asking questions, not just like spending a week with them, getting to know them, but spending this whole time with them, really working with them and really trying to understand them on a deeper and personal level than just a typical player. So I do credit that strategy. And um, I work in casting, so I've learned a lot of like questions to ask people and how to like really get to know them. So I do credit that a lot just from doing like interviews and stuff like that. But I think that was my goal, and I used that strategy to make sure that I formed these relationships where people didn't want to nominate me and people didn't want to see me go home because they saw me as a valuable player. They saw me as a valuable member to their game, but also as a valuable asset to the Big Brother season as a whole. And I really wanted to make sure that strategically I shared information when I needed to, and that I worked with the people in the house and with the other house guests so that I could form those relationships. Um, and also, I had to work on getting people out of the house that didn't want me there, like in week one with Zay, or, just continuously throughout the season. I had to try to convince people to make sure that people that weren't on my side would leave the house, and to convince them to keep some of my allies. So I think forming alliances also helped, and forming these friendships on a deeper level. But yeah, I think I'm really proud of the way that I did play Big Brother 27. And I think that my game has evolved so much since seasons 12 and 13 and over the past 15 years of just reflecting on being such a big fan of the show and how the winners play the game.
You and Keanu had a complicated dynamic, to say the least, working together yet consistently at odds. What's your perspective on your relationship, and how far did you plan on taking him in your game?
So Keanu and I definitely had a very interesting dynamic. I am not sure where it went wrong, but I think that he and I could have worked together, but for some reason we never saw eye to eye. And I do feel that if if we would have been working in the same alliance throughout the whole season, maybe we would have had like a better dynamic. But because we were technically on like two different sides of the house, it's hard to work with someone that's on a different side of the house than you, because you'll never see, eye to eye completely. Um, I think that I I would have taken him as far as I needed to, but I was never going to take him to final two. Like, let's be real. Like, I don't need to take the comp beast to final two or final three. So I was going to have to cut him eventually, but I never had the opportunity to do that. So I do think that I would have tried to work with him as long as I could, but there was also like after his HOH, I think that there was a point in we just probably would not have been able to work together much longer anyways. So I don't think that we would have I would have if I would have won HOH this past week, I would have put him on the block. Like it's just I don't think that there was a point where we could have come back from that relationship at that point in the game.
You came into the house hoping to change the way the fandom views you as a player. Ultimately, how do you think your time on season 27 has changed your Big Brother legacy?
Well, I hope that the fandom loved watching me this season. I hope we made some great television, and I hope that they saw how I grew as a player and how my game has evolved from seasons 12 and 13 over the past 15 years. Just being a fan of the show and really coming back and loving the show and trying to be an active participant in every decision that was made, to work strategically and to think through my decisions, to form alliances, to have a really good social game, to overcome any time that I face adversity in the game, to move forward when my allies turned on me. I had to, you know, reconvene, and then I had to put people on the block and make an alliance with two people from that I had just nominated. So I think that strategically I came back and played a great game. I think I played a great social game. I do wish that my competitive game was a little bit stronger. Uh, but I do think that my game as a player had changed a lot. And I think if I wouldn't have been taken out by this twist, then I do feel that you would have seen me a lot further in this game. I think I could have made it to the final two chairs. Uh, but you know, expect the unexpected in Big Brother. You never know what's going to happen. But I do feel that I truly believe I would have been sitting in the final two chairs had I not been taken out by this twist.
Finally, give me your rapid fire thoughts on each of the remaining house guests, starting with Ashley.
I absolutely love Ashley. I would say BB besties. And I'm rooting for her. I really hope her competitive game steps up because I do think she needs some wins if she wants to sit in the final two chairs and be taken seriously.
Ava.
Ava, I love her personality. She's fun. She's playing a great social game and she wins comps when she needs to.
Keanu.
Keanu, messy. Like, what else can you say about the guy? Like, he plays a great competitive game, but he's kind of all over the place.
Kelly.
I don't think Kelly has a strong social game.
Lauren.
I mean, she's kind of boring. I don't know. Like, I don't really think I know her very well. And I spent 60 days with her. So that's unfortunate.
Morgan.
Morgan, I do truly love her, but I feel that she's recently just been playing her game for Vince. She was even considering using a veto on Vince when she was on the block. And that's just like something that I hope that she realizes and then she moves forward from that and realizes that she's here to play her own game.
Vince.
I mean, like he plays a great Big Brother game, but he's just does it in a way that I don't really agree with. But he's won competitions, especially when he needed to. He has been able to socially navigate the game a lot so that he's convinced Morgan to play her game for him. So, I mean, I don't know. I want to say slimy, but I don't want to throw that much shade at him. But I'm not like a big fan of his game, but I mean, I guess he's playing the game.
And finally, Will.
Will, I love that guy. He's so sweet. What can you say about him except that he's amazing?